Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. So, I'm just making sure. There we are. That should work. Yeah, there we are. Now, order's going through. So I'm having to use OBS here. We had a bit of an issue earlier on, which was a lot of fun. Oh, competing? Oh. As in regards to the match in the future? I'm not too sure there, but welcome, Sarge. Good to have you, my friend. Yeah, I was just saying, I was planning to stream earlier on, but had issues regarding the actual settings. So finally got things sorted out. Myself and Alex spent quite a little while going through things, and we managed to finally get it going. So I thought, yeah, we might as well go ahead and get the stream done before it gets a little bit too late. And yeah, there we are. So it should be all good to go here then. Now it should as well be in 1440p and the 240 Hz, but that doesn't even really matter. But yeah, we'll continue from where we left off. Yeah, I wanted to get it done earlier on, but God damn it. Ah, it's such a pain. Like, if you guys could see the amount of videos that, like, streams that myself and Alex did privately. Oh, I mean, that sounds kind of saucy, but we must have had, like, eventually, we kind of concluded that it was, in fact, OBS, but I was using Streamlabs OBS and now using OBS itself. That should, in theory, make things work, and we'll see how that goes. We'll see. Okay. I do hope you're all doing well. I do like having the bigger screen, though. It definitely does help. Like, you get to see more of a map, which is very useful there. Okay. So, when we did leave off, then, we did have a few issues, to say the least. Hey, doing that, Arthur? Good to have you, my man. Do hope you're doing well. Yes. So we left off then with a couple issues. I need to turn that off. For some reason Steam still has the FPS on over there. I'm going to get that off later on, but for now it's okay. I can make do with that. Yeah, so we're currently in the air phase right now, and I'm pretty sure I could probably leave those settings as they are, and it wouldn't make much of a difference there. Currently on ground support. Alone and sick for New Year. Ah, man. Ah, that's fine. That's fine. It can only get better, right? It can only get better. So we do have the air... Well, so we have a ground support there. The one over here, then. Let me go ahead and turn these on over here, then, so we can get some information. Let's take a look. Ground support. So I'm looking at Luftflotte 4, and we have this one over here. So we do have reconnaissance still set to run over here with some Romanian escort. Which is fine. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not using all that much out here. And we do have... Well, we don't have the Romanian... Well, sorry, we have the Romanians covering that. We do have the BF-109 group over here, then. Yeah, the BF-109 F4s, or Gs, I think it is. Is it the F4? Might be the G, then. Whereabouts is it? Ah, yeah, there we go, the G2 over there. Hey, doing that zombie, good to have you, my man. May I say, you're looking mighty attractive here today. Good to see you. Good to see you. Ooh. Well, we're currently playing using the Stalingrad Berlin campaign. So we've had some things go our way, and things that haven't gone our way. It's been quite interesting, because I'm using the difficulty settings that allows the AI to move its troops around the map far easier. If I go ahead and show it, it's over here, actually, to the top. Not that one. Oh, no, it was that one. Yeah, so on this difficulty setting, they can move freely. So we're at the normal sort of standard level of strength and those sort of settings there. But the AI does have the ability to move around, which is quite good, quite good. It did lead to some difficulties over here, though. I had hoped that we might have been able to get out of Stalingrad in a more orderly fashion. Yeah, it went to port last turn. We did have Stalingrad taken last turn, which I really hadn't anticipated. But the fact that the AI can concentrate, and will concentrate, really kind of caught me off balance there. So we did have our forces pushed back over here. Annoyingly, we did have a 22nd Panzer. They were pushed across a river, a major river as well, which is even worse. So they did suffer a high level of attrition. So a Panzer division that did previously have tanks is now... Oh, sorry, it's not that one, it's the 11th Panzer division. So not quite as bad as 5 remaining, but yeah, not exactly great. That was one of the few divisions in the area that was actually of some strength. So we kind of do have to make some decisions as to how we handle things now, which is not ideal. I'm contemplating leaving the infantry divisions here and taking the mechanized forces and having them head out there, really. This could potentially last a small amount of time, but it would not last long at just regiments, really. Which is not exactly ideal. We don't really have all that much in the way strength down this way either, to be honest. I mean, Viking over here, yeah. 13th Panzer we could try to pull off the line. I think what I'm going to try to do then is pull off the 3rd Panzer and the 13th Panzer. Viking and the others could actually fall back to this river over here. They could establish a position over here in the rough terrain too, and try to make that work, which is not going to be ideal, to be honest. I do have some mountaineer forces down here to the south, but again, not ideal. We are seeing a Guards division over here. Yeah. So at minimum, I can pull off the 23rd division. That'd at least be something. Yeah, frankly, things aren't looking particularly great right now. Yeah, we're going to have to see what we can do there. Gonna have to see what we can do. I'm going to go ahead and have the air phase run. And then we can get into the ground phase then, can't we? That should be fine. Okay. I do think we can... I think we should be able to navigate ourselves out of the situation to a degree. I think we might be able to do that. We can see that we do have these hexes open. And this division over here can move, so the 71st division can move. It's a little difficult because they were... well, they are considered cut off right now and isolated. In fact, they all are, which is not ideal. I do have the ability to connect back up over here. The issue is that we are dealing with increasingly more difficult forces there, and that is proven to be quite hard. These positions over here, yeah, I don't know. It is going to be a hard one, really. I hadn't anticipated it being this rough of an exit from Stalingrad, and we may be looking to get things out at all, really. And that is actually, that's a hard pill to swallow. The forces that were in the area, and the thing is as well, because we don't have aircraft on the map, I really don't know how much we're dealing with in the area. That I did handicap myself by giving the AI a bit of a free pass, so that was pretty rough. How you doing there, Groundham? Good to have you. How you doing there, Alex? Yeah, how is that food? Is it microwaved enough? Oh, man. I ended up ordering some food from a local... It's like a new burger place that's actually opened up, and it was intensely average. The chips were nearly cold. Well, the fries, what are you going to call them? The fries were nearly cold. And that's a lot to say that it's literally about it's less than a mile away from where I am as well, so that's pretty impressive. How you doing there, Kosar? Good to have you, my friend. Whereabouts are you in Austria right now? Maybe you could be elsewhere, but I always assume you to be in the Austrian mountains, like some kind of sexy yeti. A seti, if you will. Not the one of Egyptian mythology, though. No. A better looking one, I might say. Yeah, I mean, this is it. I mean, frankly, I'm going to have to make these choices over here no matter what, so... It does feel nasty to have to abandon that position, because I know we're not in a great position here. This is not good. I should have got out a lot sooner. I just really didn't anticipate it being this bad. Did not anticipate that. Those Panzer divisions got savaged. I need to have some level of strength over here to make this work, and that is becoming harder and harder. How you doing there, Trotsky? How you doing there, Victor? Good to have you, my friend. No, you can see the time there on the bottom right, in fact. So about 3 hours out, near enough. Yeah, tell me about it, Trotsky. I think I underestimated them and probably gave them a little bit too much leeway, and that has come to bite me in the ass. Has come to bite me in the ass hard. Oh, good God. And the good news is at least I do have these positions over here with some fortification. I obviously just need to open this up once again. Yeah. Well, we only have what we committed, well, what we had in the initial area. We do see breakthroughs, or like, well, penetrations by these forces, which doesn't help me. No, unfortunately we can't use air evacuation. That's a shame. This core over here is a problematic one to say the least. The Romanians also gave in. I'm not too bad, my friend, not too bad. I do have a little bit of hiccups, though. Okay. So, it's going to take time to extract things out of the area as well. I haven't heard that one yet. Oh, that's awesome, man. Nah, glad to hear you're doing well. I can rail up additional forces to this area just to try and make sure this is stabilised. It's quite amusing as well. Somebody did mention that a Panzer Division had to historically head to this area to stabilise the situation, and I can fully agree with that situation now. And we will be able to bring forces down here. I'd ideally like to bring an army down there. And that one's going to be the... That's going to be an interesting one, really. Yes, exactly. Oh, we do live in interesting times, don't we, my friend? Yeah. I think the hand-holding for the AI has to end, though, because otherwise I am going to find myself in greater difficulties, and that's not exactly ideal. Oh, so I'm in train over here. Okay. So I've got the regiments over here. I'd ideally like to form divisions along this line, which I think we can manage that. I think we do have enough divisions to make this last, but I'm going to have to play harder with the AI here, really. Which sounds like big talk, but I don't know how much ability we still have here. They don't collect terrain, but that's still level 3 forts. Heavy woods over there would be nice to take. Yeah, so you never know. Oh dear. Okay. We do have some we do have some positions that had been begun over here. No, I mean this is set during the actual historical Stalingrad campaign. Well, Stalingrad scenario, Stalingrad to Berlin scenario. So we begin in 1942 in a pretty dire situation, as we do have the Sixth Army surrounded at the outset, which is not great. I do kind of regret not making more aggressive moves actually until now. So that's a lot of fun. Oh, good God, it's going to cost me. We will begin to move forces. I'm going to avoid railing forces where I can. The Caucasus doesn't require that much in the way of freight, so I can avoid that for now. These are, well, not the Luftwaffe. They're still taking quite a surprisingly long time to ready themselves. I do want to make them a multi-role unit. I forget what the requirements are to do that. I'm going to have to check that up one day. I had hoped that these divisions might have been able to take up additional men there. But we do seem to have a little bit of an issue regarding capacity and just freight in general in this area. That's not exactly ideal. So, what I'm thinking about doing is maybe having them move out to Vitebsk or Polotsk over here or something of that nature. There's no depot here right now, but I could establish one in this general area. Due to the fact, well, then again, this doesn't really help me out too much. It may just simply be a better idea to have them sent to National Reserve. Maybe so. No, I can't just send them to reserve out here. I'm trying to remember what the actual requirements are to do that. But I think the main thing I can do here then is I do have 2 Panzer divisions, well 3 Panzer divisions over here that can be utilized. The issue is it does leave us in a precarious position out this way. Yeah, exactly. The scenario begins with one hand and a meat grinder. And that is, that's definitely the feeling you get here. And it does feel like things have suddenly got much, much worse. Yeah, we did lower the TOE of our infantry divisions as well, in fact. They should be around about 11 to 12k. I'm considering potentially upping that a little bit, but I know across the board that's going to cause issues of freight. It's... I don't think we're suffering from an issue of strength per se. I mean, obviously individual divisions are not as strong as they could potentially be. But it's more so the fact that I have an issue of freight moving to the front. And that is obviously going to come down to the limitations over here. You can see that this rail line over here is having to carry a lot of assets. And yeah, it is a difficult proposition over here. A good chunk of me says, right, okay, just consider the army loss and just make do with that, but then it is a difficult thing to say. We can break some forces out, I think, but it is going to become quite difficult. I'm gonna have to try and break out the more mobile forces and pray, really. And again, that is gonna become a really questionable thing if I can even do that, to be honest. The Romanians over here don't particularly help all that much. Or at all, really. What's not helped is the fact we haven't been able to keep a corridor open consistently, and that's really hurt. Yeah, so we can see that we don't have all that much in the way of maneuverability. I do have a cavalry over here that could move up somewhat, but they're just going to get absolutely slammed, aren't they? Well, I can actually move the Italians now, which it does make a pretty big difference there. Right, these guys, they're in a very rough position, really. Yeah, unready divisions are not going to be happy divisions. I think we can save something. It is just going to be pretty hard to save the absolute least there. The Romanians may just have to be sacrificed, to be honest. So 8,000, 9,000, 9,000 now. Okay. 11,000 then is the 371st. So 371st is the strongest division I do have in the area there. I do need to keep this open. $8,000. And again, an issue here that we are going to suffer from is the fact that we do have a shrinking perimeter. I may have to hope that some forces are routed out of the area, but that's not that's not really the position I often find myself in, and I've got to admit this is quite new for me. I may just be I don't know. It is a difficult one here. It's not good. I will try to get the headquarters out to some degree, but we'll have to see what we can do. Because it is not good. it's not a good situation. If they could move up another hex, that would be ideal. I think really 29th Motorized Division then. God, it's not a good situation. Yeah, it's not good. We've got 10 there, we've got 9 there, we've got 7, we've got 3. This position over here is not exactly strong. Not really. But and especially with that mechanized over there. Oh, it's... I've never had a situation as bad, to be honest. Honestly, God, I've never had it go so poorly. Yeah, just have to hope, really. Oh, God. How did we get to this position? Oh, my God. Yeah. Yeah, routing would probably be the only way out. Gosh. Not ideal. Just anybody that has any level of strength, they need to, yeah. Yeah, these are not good. I mean, losses across the board haven't been all that bad. It's just, yeah, in this situation here. I'm gonna have to leave some sort of perimeter here to a degree. Unready divisions are not... They're just gonna melt away on the line. There's only the one HQ in there. Sorry, 2 HQs in there. That's hellish. That is absolute hell. The thing that doesn't help me as well is that they're an assault army. I think that really... I think I really needed to wean them off being an assault army as quickly as I could, to be honest. We'll surely learn a lot from this, to say the least. Yeah. Fanstrosky. So this is it. I suppose I would hope that I wouldn't get myself to these positions. Oh, and they're unready. Fuck. This is not good. Really not good. I'm gonna keep saying that. Okay. At least they're ready, which is something I can work with. I mean, we can survive. It's just not going to be pretty. I had hoped that we might have been able to draw more of a 6th army out there. I feel like some elements may yet survive. It's not great to have to say that, I must admit. It's tempted to maybe move the 371st Division there just to buy me another hex of space, perhaps, but I don't even think that's going to help me out. Well, it wouldn't help me out. I'm thinking, if anything, it'd probably exacerbate things even further, to be honest. We need to stack wherever we can, really. It may simply be the best way to go about things. I'm not entirely sure it's worth holding these fortifications. The level 3 over here may be worth holding. But I think, in all honesty, I'm better off... I think just move the remainings over there then, if I can. They may be able to draw some fire. Yeah, what I'm kind of thinking here then is essentially we just form up the troops as deep as we can. They're going to have to go out that way. If their core headquarters can get out, then they should get out. Otherwise, they are taking up a hex. I'm going to have to pull the aircraft out too as well. Yeah. But yeah, what I'm thinking is essentially the pocket's compromised anyway. But I think if I can stack the infantry, then that is probably the only way they may yet survive. I am just going to have to abandon the perimeter, I think. I think it's essentially a done deal there. I do not think there's any way out of that. Don't often say that. Don't often say that. Yeah, then we'll likely pull them out. Can I send them to reserve while we're here, actually? Don't think so. No, I can't send them to reserve right now. I'd like to say that we made them bleed it somewhat, but... well, we did inflict losses upon them, but obviously not really what I was hoping for. Why am I not able to move them? Let me just cancel that transfer here. Oh, maybe they're damaged or unable to fly. Maybe they have no fuel. I can't say that, really. At least they transferred out. Yeah, well, reserves. I mean, that's often the Axis position to be in, really. Reserves are something of a luxury. And usually that comes down to the geography of a situation more than anything else. You do know it's bad, though. You know it's a bad situation when the Air Force is evacuating. You're like, ah, okay. Well, they can escape, but we can't. Yes. Right, then. This is Shit Creek. And we are up it. We'll stabilize the front, then. Elsewhere, and we'll figure out what we can do. I know I can move additional forces. I know I can get additional forces down there. I mean, over here, I could have been going harder against them. And they've been drawing a lot of freight, so these divisions have been able to recover to at least some standard. Yeah, speaking of ice, that's the thing that didn't help either. I didn't check the actual weather report, and I didn't anticipate the actual rivers freezing that turn. And then, obviously, that reduces the benefit of the rivers quite considerably. And that's not easy to come back from. Ugh. Not nice. Oh, good God. Okay. Right, so I do have this full of weapon field division over here then. 58 then. But I tell you what though, it is definitely quite the fun experience to be on the back foot so much. I mean, we can survive this and we will survive it. But it's not an enjoyable position. It's not an enviable position to be in, I must admit. That 225 needs to head north. Ah, yeah. Well, oh, between us? I was going to say, because I've got War on Pacific play by email. I mean, in fairness, I'm waiting on Guy to get back to me, but I think he's under the weather at the moment, which is fine. I don't mind waiting. Okay. Yeah, they moved a lot of forces over here, so I would feel bad to push against them over here. And it wouldn't do me any much good anyway to abandon these positions to go into here. The heavy woods would be nice, but I don't have the river on my side, and it's not like rivers matter as much as they once did now. Yeah. I mean, that's why that's also another reason why I'm not all that keen to abandon fortifications. Fortifications do protect the armored vehicles from the elements to a degree. Now, of course, this is a this is a more mild winter compared to the first winter, so at least we do have that on our side. Right. This position over here could be defeated if I assemble enough forces. George actually, a good friend George actually asked me, like, oh, what are you going to do about Leningrad? And I said, well, essentially I could have attacked Leningrad from turn 1. Not the city itself, but hexes around the actual city itself. I could have attacked and been across the river by now. And you could pretty much do that on the first turn, but I said to him, no, I want to kind of give the AI a chance. I'm kind of regret it now. It would have been very useful to have had a number of forces able to be transferred out of the locality and moved elsewhere. But we'll manage, adapt, and overcome. That city's so bloody well fortified. It hurts. Right, we'll deal with this situation over here then first. As to whether I need to have, I think it's always better to have divisions defend, but I think I could space the divisions out, and that is likely going to be the best way. So what have I got there? 93rd. I'm going to have 93rd reconvene over here then. I'll have them spaced out, but again, well, when I can anyway, when I can. Over here, when I have no fortifications and therefore nothing to lose, it's not too bad. I can manage that. What are they in Swamp? Yeah, Swamp's a very good position to be in there, really. I think in that position, then I will take that. It's useful, though in fact that does leave me a little bit exposed over there. But I could move something over here to this wing. We'll see about that. Well, I just wanted to have a challenge. I didn't think it'd bite me in the ass. Who'd have thunk it? Oh gosh. These positions over here, the regiment should be relatively okay. We've got heavy woods there. Heavy woods and light woods. Light woods obviously does need to have some level of reinforcement there. Okay. I think over here then I'm going to go for at least 2 regiments per hex or so. And they can go there. Actually, well, we do have the light woods over here, but again, the forest, the river doesn't matter. It doesn't. Well, it's not entirely frozen, but it's not far from being frozen. The swamp will surely matter more, as it is a, I think it's a ×2 defensive value there. Right, the 225th needs to head to the north. that can go ahead and be assigned to Army Group North itself then. Okay. Now I need to get these forces out of here. Okay. Well, they have the option to march that way. I'll let them go that way. They need to be moved out. I mean, to be honest, I don't really need to have 2 divisions along this part of the line, but I'd rather have the situation in hand before we begin messing around. And at least I can know and have confidence that this will work for me. Okay. Just for now. Okay, so they have to remain on that line for now. There's a heavily overburdened core command, to be honest. Gosh. Well, I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? Like, the AI, and the Soviets in general, are able to redeploy as they see fit. So, there's good sections over here that have cleared out. And I do kind of worry that they might have actually sent their forces down here. And that it's a legitimate worry. It's a legitimate worry. Losses haven't been too bad. They did have 94 and 82. I'd hope that I could have had that, maintained. AFV losses, I mean, I lost quite a lot of loss. Well, a lot of the actual armoured vehicles went down to bloody retreats, which did not help me. Gun losses could be better, but it'd been nice if inflicted more upon them. I mean, this is not great, because they can certainly sustain these losses. We can't as much. We can to a degree, but not as much. If I go over here and check on our actual manpower, I mean, obviously we gave the order for the TOE, didn't we? So we do have a decent pool of rifle infantry, rifle squads, and etc. Whatever they may be. Yeah, so we have 3,800 in the actual pool over here. So we do have all of that manpower there, so we can make use of that. We just need to simply get the freight out to the front there, really. Yeah. But that's a big problem, and it's like, in my view, I don't think it's an issue of men, really. It's not an issue of men here at this point in time. It's an issue of freight and getting it to where it needs to be. But obviously, I mean, the nice thing is I can actually zoom out here, and we can actually have the entirety of the game more or less on the screen, which is actually quite nice. Almost the entirety of the game. But pretty much all of occupied areas here, and the Reich itself. So we can see that effectively they have a concentration of men over here. Let's see. Yeah. I have about 3 panzer divisions in this area. We've shifted down another motorized. I do have additional motorized around the area. What I need to take into consideration then is the winter itself. I mean, it's not exactly ideal that we're going to be moving armored units in snow. So I think when I can, I would be probably better off using, like, motorized units. The reason being they're not as fuel hungry and freight hungry per se. They do generally have good fighting capabilities. Enemy armor is going to be a problem, but it's not that armor and yeah. They do have a tank horse, but they're not as strong as you would imagine. Not that I'm saying that they're weak. This position ain't ideal, to say the least. Yeah. The good news is I can fall back with this division over here. I'm not exactly keen on having one division on every hex here either, so I may just simply have to accept that there's going to be a semi-permeable aspect to the line here. It would see me lose fortifications, but if I could actually increase the amount of men per se, or even potentially form reserves, that may be a good idea. So, it does very much depend. This area over here is not exactly ideal. I mean, it would have been nice to have formed like maybe a pocket around here, and I could have potentially have done that. But I'm just not a big fan of attacking during the winter, just because I know that it's often not worth it, if that makes sense. I know I have forces over here I can pull out. Well, I mean, this is also the issue there. Trotsky is obviously, again, the issue of supply. It is a big issue. Infantry would really be the better thing to send out that way. And I may just go ahead and take these infantry divisions and have them march north. Maybe that would have been a wiser idea. I had hoped to make this a defensive line. And in some respects it is a defensive line, just not particularly a useful one. But yeah, these divisions have to leave now. We'll fall back yet further. We'll fall back to this river line, but as to whether I have armored forces here, I'm not too sure. I'm hoping that I can take some of these forces over here and have them move there. They're currently already, which is not ideal. But again, I'm going to have them in the line, and ideally they can be of some use. They have a measly 1 construction value. That is pathetic. Yeah, exactly. They hit the rail line too, which is not ideal. So I'm going to reform this division here. At least then I have a division that can actually work. Obviously it's not particularly well off, but at least I go from 1 to 20, so I'm not wasting as much time over here. Panzers are an interesting thing, really. Very interesting thing. Now, freight to the Caban is not that worrisome. I don't really want to overload this line, though, that's the problem. There's forces over here, but I don't really need the divisions over there. If anything, I need the divisions along this line over here, or somewhat in this general area, but again, I cannot overload that line. It's already overloaded, so adding more men to that would just kill us. I can move men to this general area, but I don't really want to go beyond that point there. Beyond here is probably not worthwhile. You can see around Stalingrad that we are seeing a lot of issues. We do have depots that are being established. They should be done in the near future as well, to be fair. The good news is, at least with those divisions, sorry, at least with those depots that we established, it does give us at least something to work with in the near future. They are going to begin to build up actual freight in there, store that, so we can have something to work with. Frankly, I'd hoped that we didn't have to, that we would have been in a situation where we'd have to freaking rely on it so horrifically soon, but it's certainly a different position to be in. I'm not used to being in such terrible straits, but well, actually no, then again I am. I often do play the loser, so I guess this is I play the loser to expect to win. Oh, good God. Okay. So take a look at the actual situation. What's important is to make sure we do not get cut off around this area. I do have a lot of room to play with, so that's okay. These divisions being already is not okay. At least I do have some ready divisions, however. This is not ideal. Fuck. There's a good part of me that's like, right, well, if I attack that brigade, at least I could have a greater chance to hold this area potentially open. I could even construct a depot there for what it's worth. It isn't worth it, but it could be done. It may be worthwhile to take some of these Romanians and actually have them march up to the north there, just try to cause some sort of potential distraction. Because they don't really have all that much around this area. Had I had some ability, I could have potentially moved out that way. These are fairly weak units on this side, so it's not really this side of the river I'm having to be concerned about. It's really quite surely this side. Well, of course, this over here is certainly going to come down here. So I could move them to the north, but is that really going to do me any good? No. Not really. At least I do have some divisions to work with. The 13th Remain is going to have to go here then. 5th Remain is going to have to join them. I'll have to see the line along the Cher River over here. Which is not, it's not really a big deal. We don't really lose anything particularly special there. Yeah. How you doing there, Milo? Good to have you, my friend. I do have 2 German divisions over here, which is really quite a profound thing to have, I must admit. But I do not want to have them individually stacked. I want to have them double stacked. Having them double stacked actually gives us a point of strength on the line, but not that much. I do have another division I could move down this way. So that's something. So if we take a look at the actual positions over here then. If I take a look, 16, 15, 16, 14, 7. Okay. And we do have a Hungarian armored division over here. They do have some panthers over here. It's not really... I mean, tanks are great, don't get me wrong. Tanks are superb. They're fantastic. They're awesome creatures, and they're even better friends, really. It's not a lack of tanks. It's... I need infantry, I need anti-tank. I just need mass. I need mass, artillery, and anti-tank, you know? That's what I need. And ironically, I have reduced my mass by reducing the actual size of the divisions. But I don't think that was a mistake. I think that's actually been... even potentially something of a benefit to us, really. It does mean that we do, in theory, have less freight that needs to head out to these divisions along the entirety of the line, and we should be, in theory, able to move freight a little bit more freely and store it. But yeah, it doesn't feel that way, does it? I'd love to get all these guys off the line. We do have some divisions that are marching. Now, they're at 16k. They're quite distant from the front line there. The issue is if I rail them out here, that is affecting a lot of the rail line. That's affecting a lot of the actual network. I could potentially get away with that, but I do feel that movements made over here in the rear are just... it's not worth disrupting the rail network for that. We do have forces that can shift down here. If it takes time, and I'm going to have to accept that. The situation is not so dire as to be a disaster. Yeah, I mean, this isn't exactly great, but I do feel like forces can make it out of here. We do have divisions that we can actually utilize to move to the area and help to shore it up. The density of Soviets is firmly around here at Stalingrad. They're going to have some meat to chew there. They may move quickly to the south, but I'm not expecting that too quickly. Yeah. No, you're not wrong there. And that's been the difficulty here, is I haven't been able to maintain that line of communication, really. And I think maybe I should have gone ahead and just moved south faster, but it's a difficult one. Oh, we got Ove. How you doing there, Ove, Kato, and Bosch? Good to have you, my man. Good to have you. Right, another issue as well. If I march them out this way, it'll take time, but it won't affect the freight. But then again, even if I get them up over here on the freight, they're not going to be able to get off the rail lines. Exactly, that's exactly what I would think. They can move much faster, of course. Yeah, they do have considerably more there. It may very well be up to Viking. I mean, the threat down here is actually quite minimal, in all honesty. Wouldn't really want to have a regiment attack there. It's tempting to potentially counterattack into this area, but again, I know it sounds bad, but I'm still going to give the AI the benefit of the doubt. I don't want to punish them for something that a human player wouldn't do, you know? Well, not at this point in time. So I will cut them slack where I can. And where I think it's like the AI just being the AI, really. Okay. Which will come to bite me in the ass, I can imagine. Right, okay. Yes, I'm gonna invade the Soviets from the from Vladivostok. Exactly. Yeah. So I think I will rail these divisions here, but only to this hex. They'll have to walk the rest of the way there. Not that they can do it this turn. I don't mind overloading this line over here because frankly, there's not all that much moving down this line. They can't make use of the rail line right now. Nor can we really. 50th Division. They could get off the rail line about there. But I'm going to have them walk. It's not that far. Okay. Right, okay. 125th there. I mean, we are in a pretty solid position over here, then. Okay. I'm going to make one of those decisions that may bite me in the ass, but I'm going to pull the Romanians to the north. And we'll make it work. Okay. I can imagine. No, I can imagine. I wouldn't want to have to do that. Don't get me wrong. A happy new year there, Oscar. Okay. I do have Slovakian mobile too. 29 there, 29. Okay. That's not exactly ideal. I'm just trying to make sure we have some level of strength there. Which is really not a lot. Okay. Exactly, Trotsky. Exactly. As God intended. Right, okay. So I can rail these guys out. So the rail line out here is not too bad. They can move over there to the south, and then they'll have to walk short enough. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to move forces without stressing the line to breaking point, to be honest. I really do not want to affect the line in this direction. So other forces are going to have to march, and You thought marching across the Kuban was bad? Well, imagine marching from Germany all the way there. Okay. The music's from Hearts of Iron. Can I, Yeah, we've got some Hearts of Iron 3, we've got some Hearts of Iron 2. There's, I think, some Hearts of Iron 4 in here. And there's some tracks from some other games as well, in fact. I'm like a fucking locust when it comes to that. Yeah, quite good to find the copyright-free tracks. Almost like I have a vested interest in it. These regiments. Oh, so it's mono roll, okay. Maybe the others weren't mono roll. Okay. Oh, I don't really have much in the way of fortifications out here. So this is going to mean that the Panthers do suffer from that. They do have superb construction value. Oh, I don't even have roads. It's not good. I'm gonna have to go that way then. I know I said I'm against the Panzers, but in fairness, I need to pull forces out of this area anyway. At least I can move to a depot there. How they're still already is beyond me. At least I may be able to not build up some forts there. There is some freights and there is at least some support there. That's not many men. Yeah, there'll be no retreat to Warsaw. Okay. Yeah. I don't know where that river line is, but I'm gonna assume it's a good one. There's not that much out here, which is a good thing. It's certainly not a bad thing. Where the hell's the rest of the fourth? I'm starting to think that they have been destroyed or something of that nature. Oh, Smolensk, okay. I mean, that's another consideration as well, as I just completely fall back over here. I don't have a victory point in this area, so it really doesn't hurt me all that much. Hurts my pride. I'd have to study the actual terrain here, so let's take a look. Oh, I see. The difficulty is that I do have some areas where the enemy could obviously press, but that's going to be natural. Oh, if you can hit a kid outside, it's a kid, and in fact, not a goat. Yes, they are allowed. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that I have to shorten the line again. What I think I'll do then is go from at least anchor points over this way, which depends. Yeah, Pride's Age for it is. It's great motivator though. Do shoot yourself, but good motivator. I'd like to retain the rail line here then, if I can. At least that gives me something that I can have an interior line with there. I don't have that benefit over this way. But what I'm kind of thinking then is we go... Or even... Let me go bring up the drawing tool. Just bring that up in a sec. Where's it gone? Ah, there it is. Yeah, it looks a lot smaller on the screen now. Yeah. So what I'm kind of thinking then is what we could potentially do then. I do have this over here, which is a bit of a permeation, well, permeable power line, because we do have that force up boot through there. So I've got a number of options. Usually I do prefer to try and keep the enemy out, just because it makes it a lot easier. Oh, exactly, this line out. Yeah. So what I'm kind of thinking is maybe... go with something... that's not ideal. Let me start from the other direction then. Like, where do we want the line to be? I think I'd like the line to be about here. I could move across the river to gain the swamp, across there, and I gain the swamp. Now, that does leave us with a predicament, because this area over here is not all that defensible. So what I'm going to do is move from the other angle, from the other side. I could choose to retain this over here. It may be worthwhile doing. If we look at Hex economy, there's a way to draw a line from Smolensk area to Rostov area. Yeah, well, that's what I'm kind of thinking, really. It depends on really, well, yeah, as you say, the Hex economy, isn't it, really? How we're going to get the best, really, from it. That's a consideration. I mean, what is the shortest line that we can draw, really? There's going to be a natural part of the line, really. Let me... No, I was going to say it stopped. I think the natural part of the line is essentially where we must maintain to some degree. So... we need to maintain one hex in front of Smolensk so I can maintain Smolensk as a viable hub there. Okay. I don't know, maybe something like that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sorry. So that's about 18 hexes there. Could potentially alter that a little bit. Oh, you just downloaded it. You just go to Epic, just type into Google Epic Pen and you can go ahead and get that. There's a free version to download. It's well worthwhile, to be honest. It's I find it to be a really, really tremendously useful application, to be honest. But I suppose, well, I mean, this is it, isn't it, really? Because if I do something like that, which is a fairly radical withdrawal, it does see all these level of fortifications, but it does mean that we can potentially move quite far south. It's not guaranteed that we can do it all. It may be best to actually buy ourselves some... something, really. I'm assuming the enemy's in this hex over here, so what I could go ahead and do then is, if we draw the line, at least with some level of fortification, maybe. I don't know. It'd be nice if there was a few more tools to actually make this a little bit easier, really. I'm not really gaining. I suppose what we need to be looking for then is like how short, like what is the shortest extent like I can have the line here. That would at least be something. I think what I want to go ahead and do then, as I said earlier on, is I maintain that rail line. And I think come what may, I have to just go for the shortest there. Yeah. Well, this is it, isn't it, really, as you say there, Trotsky? It's like, essentially just trying to make it short and make it work. I could go across over here. Well, actually, what I can go ahead and do then is maybe have something like a line along that point there. It shows the line for the Soviets too. Well, that's true. That's very bloody true. How dare you be so accurate, Bernal? How dare you? It's one of those. It shows a line, but they still need to have a fair concentration force. Light woods there. And these being light woods is not ideal. But I mean, this area in general isn't particularly ideal in all honesty. How you doing there, Georgie George? Okay. Now really taking a look at this. And this is the thing, isn't it? Like, I have these observer forts, so they're obviously outside position. I don't know. I don't think I can do it as easily as I would like to say. I think what we'll have to do then is, obviously these forces over here can be moved out. That's fine. We've already freed up some divisions, we just need to free up a few more, really. If I could push back the mechanized, that'd be ideal, but that's not exactly easy. So really, in this particular area, all I would have to lose would be just that level 3 there. Yeah. What I could do then is force that position there. I'm going to try to maintain just natural defense where I can. That doesn't hurt me to hold on to, really. Well, actually, no, I'm in heavy woods, aren't I? I'd rather maintain the heavy woods position than venture north back into light woods at level 2. It sounds better, but it's not especially. Okay. Heavy woods there. Yeah. Well, this is it, isn't it, really? Trying to practice, obviously, as we say there. I do like that word there, hex economy. And trying to practice that, but I'm also trying to practice it in such a way that we can maintain the defensible terrain. It'd be great to just go ahead and say, oh, like, just go to this line over here, but again, it's difficult, and just like national borders are, they're based upon geographical features. I mean, that is very much like how humans do tend to be, and we need to respect that. Yeah. I mean, it's like positions like this where we have to use 3 divisions to hold a very small area, really. That army has been really quite heavily delayed. Well, this is it, isn't it, really? That's also another good point there. I think over here I do have some luxury, but I think what I would probably want to go ahead and do then is, where is my depots? So I've got a depot there, which is actually active right now, I do believe. Is it active? It's active for now. That rail line's not even active. God damn. But I think that's because of the proximity to the enemy, so that takes a lot away from this area. That's rather annoying. Yeah. Well, that's it, isn't it? Exactly. Light woods there. So this outer perimeter is really the best I'm going to get. I do have clear hex there, and I do have some light woods, but it's not ideal. So I need to maintain that outer perimeter there, really. I think over here, then, I've got heavy woods and I've got heavy woods there. It makes it a bit of an awkward one. So I've got light woods here and I've got light woods there. But that move there means I don't have to... That doesn't really make that much of a difference, really. It means they can attack me from a road as well, which is not ideal. Is that axe sticking out your head? Oh gosh. And I'm going to be pulling that division back anyway. Okay. I think, frankly, considering the actual strength of the enemy forces over here, I could pull that Coroford line. And I think I will have to. I think essentially what I'm going to have to do then is... we can maintain a reserve, but I need to be really quite realistic about this. I need to move forces elsewhere. They need to go. Well, they just... Either they go to reserve, or... Reserve would be nice to actually have them brought up to strength, really. But, again, that's a tough option. That's a tough sell. I think, first of all, then, I do have a core that was taken off a line. They're not in the best shape right now. And I suppose the issue is, if I keep them in this area over here where we do have a high level of divisions, I'm not doing myself a great favour, am I? It'd be great if I could put them into reserve, to be honest. But I do feel like these guys, I should probably just get them to march. Even 8,000 men in a division can still be an effective roadblock. We'd have to double stack them, but at least double stacking them we effectively achieve a pretty war strength. God. It's like the words of a madman, a super madman. I'm going to get them marching now. I think units marching in the right direction do help considerably. This is where we have an issue over here, really. But again, I don't want to abandon fortifications. This, I don't think I really have all that much as an option. I think really what I'd be better off doing then is just pulling back to that position there. This over here leaves us very exposed, to be honest. Yeah, makes sense. Okay. Luftwaffe over here is ready right now. Yeah, I need to remember how that works. I've completely forgotten how you can get these guys on. I need to look that up again. Maybe I'm just doing something wrong, but I'm pretty sure that they just need to be on a rail line. Maybe there's like some sort of limiting factor about proximity to the front, but I think they should be absolutely fine there. But for some reason or other, I can't seem to find out the answer to that. I'm going to have these forces continue. I would like to have the Luftwaffe field divisions utilized around this area. They can definitely help in the heavily fortified areas. And then just in general, when I don't need to have as much to maintain, or like contain, I should say, then they can come in quite handy. I've got the French volunteers there too. Again, can't. I don't know. Right. Well, there's one thing we can do here, but it's it is going to be quite considerably lengthy. So I think I will save that for another stream here, really. But what I'm thinking about doing is essentially I could take these forces and rather than have them head out per se, is what I can go ahead and do is have a system of core replacement. So what I do is I take this freed up core essentially and have utilized in this position. Have the forces that have been freed up over here shift down, that force then shift down, that force then shift down. And along the line, we actually then, to a degree, in this area over here, we're able to further consolidate, which is a good thing. And then ideally, I can strengthen the line as a whole. We still have forces moving, but we're a little bit lighter across in certain areas. But in theory, we have more strength for the line because we'll have divisions rather than regiments in some places. But then in other places, I could certainly get away by having just regiments. It's very much a give and take situation. Very much. I don't have a victory point over here on Veliki Luki. It does form a pretty important position though, because it is... I think it does have rail yard. Yeah, it has level 2 rail yard, which means that the Soviets could effectively use that as a good jumping off point. We've got to recognise that just as our own logistics are constrained, so are the Soviet logistics, so we do need to maintain that balance. Yeah. That is a very... that's a very strongly held position, though. Over here, not so much. Oddly, their defense characteristic, but I don't know if that is their defense characteristic. That I might still have it on movement by mistake, in fact. And I think I... Yes, I did. Okay. I was going to say that's weird that it'd be so weakly held. But then again, you do want to keep divisions together wherever you can, really. They are just far more effective. They're just certainly far more able to actually hold their positions, really. And if you do get forced to retreat, you're not going to have forces take extraordinary losses, really. Or uneven losses. It's better to have it spread across the division than to have it spread across a regiment, I suppose you could say. Or even 2 regiments. It just doesn't spread as uniformly. It is going to hurt. So what I'm kind of thinking then is, and I do need to maintain Vorozhnev. I likely will end up losing the initiative here, which is not exactly ideal. We may yet be able to maintain it, but it's going to be difficult. It's going to be exceedingly difficult. Positions like this do need to be reinforced. I think if I can maintain these level 3 forts, that's going to be really well worthwhile. I mean, this is it. We're suffering now, and it's only December 10th, really. Not very ideal. Freight is certainly a premium. Certainly. What do we have here? Mountain. 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 Oh, so rough there. So yeah, I might have been too zealous by holding those in there. I mean, this is it. I suppose it's learning. Maybe what I should have done then is, rather than be too rail shy, is maybe railed around the Luftwaffe field divisions and had them railed over here earlier. Then I could have actually moved down those Romanian mounted divisions earlier. But I suppose it's all experience for playing the actual game here, just to figure out really what you should do. I think this is a good idea. I think it's a good difficulty setting here to really give us an idea of what a human player will subject us to. And this is it. It's like once we do enter, let's say in a play by email, once we do enter into the winter, really, we are going to be seeing situations like this where we are going to be severely and rather hard pressed. I think we'll call it about here, though. I do hope you guys can actually appreciate the new quality in terms of, like, well, video, and just in terms of actual yeah, it should look better on the actual screen in general. I am streaming this about 60 hertz. I would need to have a superior graphics card to do it at a higher level, but I don't think you guys need that 240 yet. I don't think I need 240, but eventually we'll get there, eventually. But yeah, I'd like to say thank you for watching there so far, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all do have a superb and fortuitous new year to come. I myself, I don't know. It's a weird one, isn't it, when it comes to New Year's? I think in some ways, at least for myself, I think in some ways it's like I'd like to prefer... Well, sorry, I'd like to think it was just a normal day. So I think in some ways it makes it easier. Because it feels like, well, an end of something. But it's not really, is it? Because in reality it's just another day. But then it's really the attachments that we place upon these days that we share, isn't it, really? So... And it feels weird, doesn't it? It feels weird to say, oh, goodbye to 2021. You feel like, well, where did that year go? Where did that year go? An odd one there. A very odd one. Indeed we all are. So I'd like to say thank you, and yep, thanks for sticking with the channel. Who the fuck knows what we'll do in 2022? That's depressing. I can see all the detail. I can see all the colours of the rainbow. Indeed. Well, take care, everybody. Have fun, stay safe, and yeah, just make sure you do something a little bit nicer to you. Well, for yourself next year. Yeah, why not? You've earned it. Goodbye for now. I'll use something I say. See you next time in the new year.